In this, we will cover security management plan, policies, procedures. So what is security management plan? It consists of three words: security management plan, how you will manage the security of it. So security management plan is basically a set of structured standard operating procedures designed to help you achieve your goals, security goals. It should be developed after a careful assessment and evaluation of organization assets and objectives and goals of an organization. Security plans means you should have a processes, structures in place with the help of which you can have developed process controls to protect your organization. So there are different components of a plan: policies, standards, guidelines, procedures, baselines, org structure. Always remember, top level management is the one which defines the policy. Mid-level management is responsible for developing the standards, guidelines, and procedure in alignment with the security policies, and end users have to abide by this. Don't worry, I will cover these things in detail with you. So there are two approaches to security management plan. One is top-down approach. Okay, top-down approach. This is very commonly used in the organizations where senior manager defines the policies and people below them have to abide by that. So they define the policy, which is systematically percolated to the people downwards, and they have to abide by that. No, no exceptions. Bottom up approach. This comes, this is just opposite of top down. This comes, suppose I'm an operational guy working on some issue. I come across some problem and I figure it out that we need a process or a policy to get this problem addressed. I will ask my manager to look into it. Then my manager will go to his manager, and ultimately top management will define the policy on the basis of feedback provided by you who works at a operational level. This is called bottom-up approach. Sometimes it led to conflicts because people may take it on their ego. Ego is a three-letter word, but it has it has like put the world upside down now. Everything that is happening, every war is happening, every problem is happening, is just because of this three-letter word. World is upside down, all wars, all Ukraine war, Russia war, everything that is happening in our organizations, everything is just because of this bullshit three-letter word, which we, a very small creature of the world, had. And that's the problem we are facing. That's true. Okay, so there are three types of plan. Okay, they all work in tandem with each other. So there are three types of plan: strategic, tactical, operational. Okay, I will explain this with the help of two examples that will make it more clear. Give me a minute. So I will explain these three plans with the help of two examples. One is from the company which I used to work with. Another one is from my real life, my life. So there was a company I used to work with long way back. So they have like strategic plan is normally of 3 to 5 years. Like this is more related to business. Like sometimes people ask you, where would you see 5 years down the line? Okay, where would you see 5 years down the line? I say, if that company, let's take an example, that company name was X, and that was into educational tourism. Like medical tourism, educational tourism is also very common in India. Like they had a very unique concept. I tell you about that unique concept. Like they had offices, locations in Shimla. They had offices in Shimla, Mussoorie, Goa, and Delhi. So you can enjoy your holiday. You can pick up the location. One is a hill station, second one is a beach, and Delhi is a capital city. And Mussoorie is also a hill station. You can choose up the location, you can choose the location, and then you can take decisions and then you can study. At the same time, you can enjoy the tourism also. So that company had a strategic plan of doubling their revenue in revenue. Okay. So this was a strategic plan. If you talk about me, I never wanted to be a CISO. I never wanted to be a CISO. I always, since last 10, 15 years, I have always seen myself as a freelance guy. Although at that time in India, the concept of freelance, if we talk about 10, 15 years ago, the concept of freelance was not very common in India. But yes, so if you ask me where would I see 5 years down the line, and for me that 5 years have come because now I'm moving out of my job. So I would see myself as a freelance infosec consultant, not only trainer, consultant. Okay. Then now, what is tactical plan? Tactical plan is normally of 1 to 2 years. It is there to support the strategic plan. So if you look at the company, for doubling their revenues, they have identified two tactical plan. One is increase their mode of training. Because earlier, like they only offered classroom training, that too at their locations. And second one they have identified is increase physical footprints, because they have only offices in India in 4 places. Okay, increasing physical footprints. Now, if you talk about me, in 2018 till 2017, 16, 17, I would say, I only used to I was CISA certified, and I was taking batches related to CISA. I thought that this thing came into my mind that I would not be able to survive with only one certification and training. So what I decided to increase two strategic plan I pick up, increase my training, expand my training portfolio, that will be more appropriate. And second one is work on building audit profile. And I have already moved into that, worked hard a lot. I'm just telling things about the past. So this is two tactical plans of mine. Now, operational plan, which is very specific, it is related to a project. Operational plan. So as a part of this tactical plan, increase their mode of training. So one mode of training they wanted to add is online. Okay, so they will take it as a project, that how much time, what are the tools it requires, how much training needs to be provided, what are the courses that they will offer offline. That is a project. Similarly, for increasing physical footprint, they decided to open office in Dubai. So how much time will it take and all that, project, that is what your operational plan. Like increase my training portfolio As a part of that, I have done CISSP after that, CCSP, C risk, security plus. Okay. Then ISO 27001. And I will be very soon starting my ISO 27001 also. So suppose now, so I have done, suppose as a part of this CISSP and CCSP portfolio, uh, adding this certification, how much time I need to work on it, prepare for it. So that is a project. Similarly, to work on audit profile, I did my ISO 27001, 22301, and changed my role in 2004, in 2020, so that I have changed my role in 2020 so that I can get exposed to the audit profile. Although I was doing audit as a senior level manager, because I was a head of security. So as a part of that, I had faced many audits in the past. But in 2020, I got an opportunity to move into an audit and compliance team where I had performed ISO 27000 audit, worked as an incident audit, have participated in implementations. So this is how it works. Combinedly, okay, if someone, there is a word called planning horizon. If someone says, what is a planning horizon of an organization? So he's talking about strategic plan, tactical plan, and operational plan. So these three plans combinedly, we call it as planning horizon of an organization. Strategic plan is the responsibility of a senior management. Tactical plan is the responsibility of a mid-level mentor because they will tell you that this is what they want to achieve. I want to double my revenue. Now come up with a plan to double my revenue. Correct? So, and implementation team is operational plan. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
Then we have in an organization's security management plan has many components, policies, procedures, guidelines. So security policy is a broad statement produced by senior management that dictates the role of security within the organization. These are organization laws which everyone in the organization has to abide by, which means that if there is a policy, then you have to follow it. Like, for example, there is a policy that all confidential data should be encrypted, protected. If it is being said that it should be protected, then it has to be protected. Everyone has to abide by it. The characteristics of a policy, it must be generic, non-technical, and easily understandable so that it must be generic, non-technical, and easy understandable so that people who are non-technical can also easily understand the language of the policy. It should integrate into all business functions and business processes. The environment in which we are working is changing regularly. So policies needs to be reviewed regularly and if required, updated also. Like in 2012, when I joined BT, okay, there was a BlackBerry, means every one of us, especially in SOC, we used to get, we used to be issued, organizations used to issue us BlackBerry. So there was a BlackBerry policy in place. But now in 2017, I suppose, they have scrapped that. Uh, they stopped giving BlackBerry because it has gone out of the market. And then the policy, it was the BlackBerry policy was replaced with BYOD policies. So it must be reviewed, modified periodically or as the environment changes. And policies should support the vision and mission of an organization. The policies of a security training company would be different from the policies of a government company or a pharmaceutical company or a financial company. Correct? Because in security training company, it won't be too strict. But at the same time, pharmaceutical, government, the policies will be stringent. So types of security policies, organization security policies, which is applicable to the organization as a whole. Like, for example, as I've given you example, as I've already told you earlier, that irrespective of the department, if there is a confidential data or critical data, it needs to be protected. It's organization security policy. Every data needs to be classified as per the proper classification levels. That is again an organization security policy, irrespective of the department to which they belong. Then they are issue specific policy. This is specific to a service, department, or functions. Like, for example, HR policies, IT policies, correct? Then you have a system specific policies. It focuses on individual systems. So organizations have firewalls, data loss prevention devices, IPS, you have database servers. So policies specific to these specific systems, how you should handle it and all, that is system specific policies. Policies help you in reducing the financial losses because people are aware that what they need to do and what is expected of them. Irretrievable loss of a data. It helps you in preventing reputational damage because reputations are also very, very important. Just like in India, it happened. Uh, Paytm, there were some services of Paytm which was prohibited or stopped by Reserve Bank of India because of their non-compliances. Their UPI was not impacted, but then people stopped using their UPIs also. Misuse and abuse of assistance and regulatory and legal consequences. So when we talk about policy chart, you have laws, regulation, and requirements policy deriving out of laws, regulation always takes a precedence. Then you have general organization policies, okay, like applicable to the organization as a whole, functional implementation policies, and then it is followed by standard, baselines, guidelines, and procedures. Let me explain what is standard. Look, remember I give you an example of policy that all confidential data needs to be protected. That is policy. Standards say how it should be protected. You say all confidential data should be protected. Standards say, tell me, I will protect it, but you have to tell me that how should I protect it? That is what standard is. If I say, okay, so suppose there are three shades of a data, everyone remember. There are three shades of a data. Data at rest. Right now I will only talk about two: data at rest and data in transit. Okay, data at rest and data in transit. Data at rest, when your data is stored in your hard drive, USB drive, storage area network. And data in transit, like just like another example of data in data at rest is data stored on my Google Drive. Okay. Then when you download it from the Google Drive to your system, that is data in transit. Correct? So standard says that all data at rest, how should we protect data at rest? There is an encryption standard called AES. Okay. You should protect it with symmetric encryption, AES. So we have specified that how it should be protected. And data in transit should be protected with TLS. Don't worry, I will cover this thing with you. So data in transit should be protected with TLS. So we have defined that how it should be protected. Like another example, you should be authenticated. Like if you want to access every user entity in an organization should be authenticated before they can access the resources of an organization. Okay, this is what our access control policies say. Okay, standard will say how it should be authenticated. So you will, in a standard, you will define, yes, they should be authenticated with two-factor authentication, something you know and something you have. So that is what a standard is. Guidelines. Guidelines are discretionary in nature. Like I suggested you, all of you, except Vivek, that Vivek can have a eligibility to go for CISSP. Correct, Vivek? I think you're the one, if I'm not thinking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You have eligibility to go for CISSP. So I accept him. I have suggested you all that go for CompTIA Security Plus. It's a damn good course. You will, it will, if you do that course properly, I have myself developed a content of it. 1800, 1900 slides for 5 domains. Too good. But did I make it mandatory? No. Up to you whether you follow or whether you want to do it or not. Just like another example, I say password should be off. I recommend, means in an organization, it is sometimes recommended, it is recommended that password should be of 8 to 10 characters. Because you are suggesting it, you're not making it mandatory. That is guideline. Up to you whether you follow it or not. Like for example, uh, vendor hardening guidelines. What is hardening? Hardening is a process of finding out the vulnerable points or a weak point in a system and close it down. Like for example, router. Router is a device which whose main purpose is to route the packet from one network to another. Like you have, just take it as a plane, which if you want to move from one city to another, you either, if you want to move within the city, you can use your car or your vehicle or public conveyance. That is what a kind of a switch. But if you want to move intercity between two cities, you can use either router or you can either use plane or a train. So that is what a router is. It helps in routing packet from one network to another. So router, when you purchase a router, vendor provides you guidelines, hardening guidelines, that this port should not be opened, that port should not be opened, this should be there, password should be of 10 characters, HTTP services should not be enabled. So he has given you the guideline. He has not made it mandatory for you. You have to have uh, 8 to 10 characters. That's up to you. Ab ABC rakh lo. So vendor will not say anything, but he has provided you the guideline. So that is what a guideline is. Up to you. It's discretionary in nature. Up to you whether you want to follow it or not. Then procedures. Like, suppose all confidential policy says all confidential data should be protected. Standard says it should be protected. Data at rest should be protected with AES. I will cover all those. Data at rest should be protected with AES, and data in transit should be protected with TLS. आपने HTTPS देखा है? The HTTPS on the website, that is what it uses TLS. I will cover all those because cryptography, please be ready. A lot of technical stuff is also coming your way. So, so procedures are step-by-step instructions. So like all confidential data should be protected with AES. How to apply AES? The step-by-step instructions to perform that job. Like you have to upgrade a server. How you will upgrade it? You will log into the server, take a backup, apply this patch, and then execute this patch, wait for 10 minutes, then reboot the server. That is what procedure is. This comes lowest in a hierarchy. Then you have baselines. What is baseline? Best example of baseline, you are all working, correct? You are all working. So baseline simply means that, like, in a baseline, normally, if you're working in an organization, you, you would have been issued a laptop. Every laptop every organization laptop or a desktop have a customized operating system. So what they do, they take an image, just like in my organization, they have taken an image of Windows 11, okay, customize it and store it as a baseline image. And it is that baseline image that they are using for installing the operating system across the organization. So that is what baseline is. So you can see policies, general management statement. If you need to know why we have to do something within a company, look at policies. Standard, what is our requirement? If you need to know what configurations are mandatory, you should look at standard. If you need to know how to do something, then check a procedure. And for all other helpful suggestion and recommendation, check the guidelines. Baseline, uniform ways of safeguard implementation. So this is just an example of baseline policies procedures. So let's look at policies, a high level statement of organization senior management intent. Organization is broad, policies are broad and organization wide. It is applicable to the organization as a whole. Enforcement, it is enforced through disciplinary actions or quality penalties. If you don't follow it, there will be consequences. Review frequency, I would say once in a year. Okay. Once in a year or whenever the change happens. Okay. Style, formal. Okay. Formal, concise, and authoritative. Example, all employees and contractors must use strong passwords and follow secure management practices and protect organization assets and systems. Standards defines how policy should be implemented. Okay, like you see in an example policies, all employees and contractors must use strong passwords and follow secure management practices to protect organization assets and systems. Okay, standards, as I told you, how policies should be implemented, specific to policy or an area. This is enforced through compliance audits or certification process. You perform audit and then you enforce your standards. Periodic, based on policy or technology changes. It is technical, detailed, and precise. Like here it says they should use passwords. In standard, they are saying it should be at least must, you see, must be at least 12 characters long and include a combination of uppercase, lowercase letters, and special characters. Procedure, the step-by-step instructions to do a job. Specific to a task or process, it is enforced through by giving training and corrective actions. Frequent, this is the one which frequently changes. Step by step, with accompanying visuals or flowchart, like to reset a portal, visit the password reset portal, enter your employee ID and email address, and answer the security questions. Then guidelines are recommended best practice, up to you whether you follow it or not. Broad applicability is not mandatory. It's not enforced, but yes, you should follow. Periodic as needed or per requirement. Narrative with explanations and examples. Like you see, it is recommended to use passphrase for a password. Passphrase can be like, look, 12 characters is mandatory. You may use passphrase or you may not use passphrase. Okay, I can have 12 character like hacking 1925 19289. It will fulfill that standard. But guidelines say it's better to have a guideline. Jai Shri Ram at 1980. Not my password, just an example. So you see, Jai Shri Ram 1920. This is what? Or Jai Shri Ram at the 2024. That is easy to remember, correct? But very difficult to get it correct. Have J have J as capital, replace A by alpha, I by exclamation. Okay. People will find it very difficult to break this, and it's like easy to remember. It was like inaugurated in 2024. So yes, you can have that. So that covers your policy. So best way, look, I have policies, but I can't show this here because that's is confidential. Okay, so best way, go to your intranet page and have a look at it. That would be the best thing. Okay, so that covers your another part of it. Okay, so which of the following is most likely to be discretionary? Policies, procedures, standards, it is mandatory in nature. Guidelines are discretionary in nature. Which of the following an organization decides to replace its aging firewall from another vendor? Which of the following documents will undergo maximum and minimal changes? So policy will go minimal changes and maximum changes will be procedure. So max is procedure, minimum is policy.